Hey, this is Patty Larkin, celebrating 20 years of Retrospectives with John Broughton on 3 SER KC Radio. Congratulations, John. Cheers.
Just to begin with, congratulations on the new CD. Quite an ambitious effort, doing everything yourself, but I guess it's one way to get exactly the record that you want, isn't it?
Yes, well, or the one I deserve, I suppose.
Yeah, true.
It was, it was reality time, and I wanted to do something challenging and do something that sort of defined the record in a different way for me, and that was what I chose to do at this point.
It's been a few years since your last record, but of course in between there was that wonderful guitar compilation you were involved with. Did working on another project like that freshen you in a way to come back and take on your own music?
I think so. I mean, I thought that, I don't like to use the word no-brainer, the phrase no-brainer, but, I thought it was going to be simpler to put that compilation together, and indeed it took about 2 years of planning and assembling, and then also just all the logistics of getting the record companies together. But what it did really was it helped me play several different styles of music, because we did 2 years of touring with it. And so I was playing with jazz players and classical players and sort of trance players, and it's definitely stretched me and moved me in a very musical direction.
I believe also in that time you've entered the wonderful world of parenthood.
Yes, I have. Yeah, the wee ones are just down here on this end of the world. But, my partner and I have adopted 2 little girls from China, and that has changed all the focus, I think, really. It took about a year and a half or 2 to put everything in perspective and reconfigure my lifestyle to the point where I was able to, feel comfortable. But things are going very well. Thank you.
How much of this new record has come out of the experimentation, and how much was pre-planned?
Well, I think that some of the writing was experimental in terms, for me, usually in the past I've written just with the guitar sitting in my lap, and this time I had the laptop in my lap, and took long walks and wrote lyrics and listened to the music on headphones as I was walking, and wrote some other lyrics while I was just sitting with the microphone in front of me in the studio. And I think part of that is the solitude of working alone and feeling comfortable being by myself and not embarrassing myself too hugely. Another part is just really redefining song form and redefining songwriting for myself, And then there are, the good third to half of the songs are written in more of a classic style and in a classic method. So it's a combination of things. The music came from all different directions for me.
You seem to be someone who thrives on working alone. Is that the most comfortable and productive way for you to create?
Working alone?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to say. I think this was a first for me, and I've always done my demos by myself pretty much, or worked on ideas by myself, and this was kind of a big foray into the world of technology in terms of doing the engineering myself, and I still have a long way to go, but I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the creativity involved with the machine and the technology, and I liked hitting the delete button when when no one was looking, and I think that does give you a sense of freedom, and it also you are defined and confined by your knowledge, and so I really did hit those limits.
Did you do anything different in?
Things I would do differently, like
in the actual writing process of the songs this time around? Did you do anything differently there?
In the writing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of it's more stream of consciousness in terms of just not having to have the guitar there. And because I had sort of amassed these ideas, musical ideas on my computer, I was able to go back and say, okay, do I want to make a song out of this? There were a couple different snippets that I didn't use that I'll probably go back to and re-record that I felt were worthwhile, but just a little less than worthy. So it was interesting having access to the tools and also to that kind of to the memory bank of the computer, like how, and have it in a form that I could use it. You know, that was all new for me. I enjoyed being my own boss, and yet what my limits are. I know what my constraints are, and you know, I don't play cello, unfortunately. You know, it's I wish I did. I'm not Prince, but you know, it was really exciting and thrilling, and I'm happy that it's finished, only because it could have gone on forever.
I believe there wasn't a great deal of time between the writing of some of the songs and the recording of them. Were you particularly keen to capture that type of immediacy?
Well, part of it was just that my little mini disc player stopped working, so I was putting things on my cell phone. It was just silly. So I'd be writing, and I'd just come back to my home studio and just start recording as soon as I could. I think that there's a beauty to that, and yet then there are other songs that I didn't get the first time, second time, or third time, and so it was like I just wanted to jettison the song, and I thought, well, let's just try it one more time a different way. And so there were two or three like that I kept turning the stone over until I felt like it was going to work, you know. And Hallelujah was one of those, and
yeah.
You know, it just took me a while to get it. I had to separate the vocal and the guitar, which is very rare for me. But you know, when you're your own boss, you can take all the time in the world, I suppose.
That's true.
At 3 a.m.
I saw somewhere where you described this record as a harrowing experience at times in the recording process. In what way was that?
Well, there was the moment. My hairstylist, and I credit her on the album because she's really fun, and she's a singer, Lisa, Hair by Lisa. I walked in one day and I had just found that I hit the memory limit on my computer, and it kept saying, you know, have to upgrade memory, need more memory, yoo-hoo, stop, and then try. I just started really backing up, and I've heard since then that, or actually right then, after when I started checking in with people, that's the problem that musicians have if they're somewhat technologically savvy but really not totally knowledgeable, that they're assigning things to the wrong hard drive, or, you know, gigabytes, megabytes. I really didn't know, you know, minibytes. It really didn't matter to me. So I really started paying attention. I got someone down to set things straight, but there was a 28-minute gap where my engineer friend in Nashville and I were just on the phone, and we were backing everything up and transferring it to a new hard drive, and I needed a shower afterwards. It was I could have lost much of it. You know, it would have been a very sad day. And so he sat there with me for those 28 minutes, and we just chatted, and then it was done. So I was able to continue.
Was there anything in particular that you missed about the conventional recording method?
Well, certainly the camaraderie, and then also the ideas. It's embarrassing to say, but I have many of my albums on my iPod, because if I'm at a show and someone asks for a song, I can't exactly remember the lyric. I can go backstage and listen and learn it on the break. And so I was at the dentist, and I had my iPod on, and it ended up in shuffle. And so I was listening to all this back catalog, and wonderful guitar playing by Mark Shulman, and John Leventhal, and drumming, and cello playing. And, you know, it's humbling. Let's just put it that way. You know, these people are extremely talented, and I missed that. I missed the creative spark, and also the surprise, a sense of, I never would have thought of that. That's just such a cool take on that song, you know. And so that was lacking. And yet I had my Ben Whitman and Bette Warner came in at several times, and then also the mixer, you know, added so much. Even though I had been kind of slogging away in the pits on my own, they came in and worked through stuff with me, or checked my editing and said, you know, there's too much going on, or whatever. You know, it was good to have those balance points.
Do you think you'll record this way again?
Well, I certainly will do parts of it. I think the working title for the next record is going to be All Play. I don't know if you ever played Pictionary, but that's when everybody jumps in.
Uh-huh.
And I think that I had thought of this the last couple of records, just to have some of the people I know all over the place get Bella Fleck up here and just start exchanging files now that I'm kind of a little bit savvy, about the technology, and get some people on it that whom I admire greatly. And there's just so many wonderful players out there. But I think definitely in the demo world, I'll keep going, and I'm looking forward to doing some film scoring, and I'll do that on my own until I can't, until I hit that wall. But it was interesting, I think, to make this sort of not superficial, but sort of outside constraints on myself, to sort of define it formally and say, okay, you're going to work within this box and see what you can come up with, and see how much you can push the envelope on your side, and then let it go, because it certainly, like I said, could have gone on for quite a while, given unlimited time and money, which mostly I have the time part. I think I did want to finish, and I did want to say, okay, that's it. And now I'm hearing things I could have done differently, but back then it was, by June, I was pretty much finished.
When using all these wonderfully creative sounds and loops, were you by the same token remaining conscious of not having them distract too much from the song itself? Was there a line there you were careful not to cross?
Well, I think that a line that I was what to cross, I'm sorry?
Was there a line there
careful
that you...
not to cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, I had a lot on songs like Beautiful. I mean, that's still pretty busy. Dear Heart, with all the violin bowing on the baritone, and even Walking. Part of it's the mixer, and what Mike chose to leave in and leave out. But I really did try to edit out the extraneous, and also edit the songs. Something like Walking, I made a huge edit in and just took out a verse and tried to make it concise, because I think that if you're working by yourself and you're throwing everything on it, and you're like, this is my life's work, it could have been a double album. Each song could have been 10 minutes long, and these are really actually kind of shorter songs, and I left I left snippets and connectors out, because I just felt like it could, if it wasn't exactly right, I just wanted to leave it out. So that was difficult, to say goodbye to some of the things, but it was also part of the discipline.
How are these songs going to translate to a live situation? Are you going to use a lot of the pre-recorded material already?
Well, I know. It took me a while. It's funny, because I started writing right after the album was complete. I started to write again, and then I thought, well, I really do have to rehearse these, because I wanted to transfer the concept to the live shows. And so there are several songs that I play just with acoustic guitar and sing, and but then there are the same amount that I do looping with. I have a looping device. There are several on the market, but I've been playing with loops for about 10 years, but maybe only in the last 3 or 4 have I been doing that live. So I'm doing that, and on the phone message song, I'm doing a pre-recorded drum track, and so that's kind of new for me, and that was a big decision. I tried recreating sort of the drum vibe live with an electric, and just decided that it would set it up the way I wanted it set up, because the drum is so drum track is so definitive in that song. So that's it. I'm not really layering vocals at this point. I've avoided that, but I'm doing a lot of guitar layering.
Bound Book, it appeared on the La Guitarra compilation, and you've included it on this CD. Was that a piece that you felt sat nicely alongside these songs? The answer, in a nutshell, I did feel like Bound Book was a song that fit in, and I had a couple of the songs that were story songs that didn't really line up. So that combined with the idea that I still wanted to be talking about La Guitarra as a project and also as a fundraiser for teaching kids how to play guitar. I just felt like it
it worked in this situation, and I definitely wanted to do an instrumental, so I put it in there.
Now, the song Walking in My Sleep has quite a story to it. Can you let us in on that one?
Walking in My Sleep is something I wrote after staying at a haunted B&B and bed and breakfast, and where I came back late, and my key didn't work for the room, and my skeleton key, and it's a place from the 1700s, so it's quite old, but it turns out it's on like the haunted tour books, and it's incredibly famous for this one particular ghost, and I happened to be sleeping in her room. So I switched rooms, left the lights on, left at dawn, and it was not pleasant because I really didn't want to see a ghost. And as I drove away, as it was getting light, I thought I really should write something about it. So the song is really in the voice of the ghost, and I'm sharing the room with her, and that's where that comes from.
I guess you've really raised the bar for yourself on this record. Have you given any thought to the challenge of how to follow it up?
No, I know. Well, get everybody on. I think one of the songs, Traveling Alone, came from a show I did, a small snippet of a show in a series of one acts for a local theater company. And so that's one idea, is to do a one-woman show of some kind that uses music. But I think, just to keep playing and writing, and to, keep exploring the guitar in particular. Obviously, that there's just so much there. There's so much to learn. So hopefully that's what I'll keep doing, is just keep listening and learning as much as I can.
Fantastic. But Patty, I'm going to let you go before the phone drops out on us again. I won't chance it any longer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling in there.
It's great to speak to you again.
I hope to get back to Australia at some point. Yeah, you too.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
Interest, and I know,
Yeah.
a little too long. So I will. We're already mounting some kind of European thing, so hopefully we'll get back there next year or two.
Tremendous. We'll be here waiting
Thanks so
for you.
much.
Thanks again, Patty.
Okay.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.